Steve Frazier with Overlandscapes. Glad you're here. I've been on the road now for 88 consecutive days. I've taken other trips, but this is the longest that I've been on the road. And I'll be on the road for another 60 probably. Just really enjoying it, living in places that I can camp for free. And of course, that's the Bureau of Land Management, BLM, which is generally hot, deserts, and also forests. And some of the places that I've lived in forests are just stunningly beautiful with beautiful views. Not so much this place. I pulled in here last night just before dark. I had been searching and couldn't find a place to park the truck. A lot of the forest I'm finding, they'll have these logging roads and you'll travel down them hoping to find a place to camp where it ends. And it just ends abruptly, but it's not flat. And on top of that, there's nowhere to turn around. So it's kind of frustrating. I spent several hours yesterday exploring. Got myself into some difficult situations trying to turn around. But found this spot. It had a nice place to turn around. The end of the road is just beyond me here. So there was kind of a widened spot over here. And I just pulled over there, leveled the truck, and spent the night here. But let's talk about what it's like to live in an ALU-CAB. Okay, let's talk about the other part of the ALU-CAB, the cabin. In the previous video, we talked about the tent and what I think about it and things that I've learned about it. But today we're going to talk about the cabin, as I call it, which is the lower part. So the tent part is up there, and this is the part that we'll talk about here. All right, I'm going to take this stuff and move it out of here, putting it down below. And then I'm going to zip the windows up slightly. Yeah. That's good enough. All right, good enough. Now, you'll note that, as I talked about in the first segment of this video, I've got everything laid out so that I can close the tent. But I can just lift the platform right here up and push it all the way up. This is my sleeping platform, but now it's raised all the way up, and I am standing right here, standing up, and I can reach. I cannot touch that top corner back up there. It's just too high to reach. So that's cool. This is the granny's attic that opens up. And so I can store things that are only just a couple of inches tall right there. But it is another storage place. So granny's attic, there you go. Look at how spacious this is. So this is how the cabin looks when I have my computer table set up. So on the computer table right here, I put my computer, obviously, if I'm going to call it a computer table. And I sit right here on that Rubbermaid bin, and I put a cushion up here so I can sit very comfortably. I have a power strip, and it is plugged into the power inverter right here. And I monitor the voltage on the battery right over here. And I know you can't see that right now. Let's walk around the other side. Okay. So I can see the voltage right there. It's 12.7 volts right now. And if it drops too low because my solar panels are not getting sunshine, or in this case, the sun is behind me and so the solar panels aren't really getting any sunlight directly on them, I'll start the engine, let it run for 20 minutes or whatever, and then I'm back in good shape. So the other thing is that you'll notice that the top up here, that's the bed platform, has been pushed up. And so I can actually stand in here and walk around. So it's quite spacious that way. And I have the windows to the tent open, as well as the doors and windows here on the sides of the cabin open. And so there's a lot of air that can move through here. And it is quite comfortable. That one I have open just a hair. I closed it because sunshine earlier in the day was coming in and hitting my computer screen. So again, there's my seat cushion with my computer facing me. You can see how the table fits in on top of the cabinet there. I pulled the table out so that I could make things to eat. I'm seriously thinking about pancakes again. My favorite meal on the trail. Especially these pancakes. They're extraordinary pancakes. So I have a propane tank and it is filled. I stopped at a gas station and they had a propane tank there and they filled it up for me. So I can turn on my heater here and use that tonight. The problem is that that screen needs to be taken off. So it's kind of gluey, gummy, and Velcro stuff, and you just pull it off. I haven't been wanting to take it off yet, but we'll see. You'll notice there's a curtain here made of the same material as the tent. And if you unroll it, it drops all the way down. There's one for the door, and of course there's one for the other side over here. And last night I dropped those. This is the screen, and then in front of it, between us and the screen, is this curtain that comes down. And I think that the idea behind it is that it helps insulate you from the cold, the aluminum door and those kind of things. I found that with my cabinets being up here and all the paraphernalia that I have, it was difficult to roll it up and down. And again, if I'm going to run the heater, I've got to take this whole side off anyway. There is one for the door also, behind the screen here. See that? So if you don't have as much stuff inside the cabin, that is very helpful. And I did notice that it kind of took off the chill that I could feel coming through the door last night. But of course, the cabin still got cold. It was, in the upper 40s inside of here when I woke up. It was warmer up in the tent because I had the windows almost totally closed. And so my body heat accumulated some heat. I don't always make it to my camping place while it's still light out. And so in the dark, one of the things that's nice, and I do this all the time, is I'll open these side doors for the windows. And when I do that, outside of the screen is a light. And so I'll just turn on the light, open it out this way a little bit, and then I'm lighting the exterior of the truck. And I find that to be very handy. So there's one on the other side also that I could use. On the back door, There's also a light that's right up there above my paper towel. So I turn that one on, obviously, too. The screens are up like this one is right here. Then I will take and make these red so that I'm not attracting as many insects. So the cabin is where I store a lot of the stuff that I'm carrying with me. Everything from clothing. I have clothing in those first two cabinets right there. I have this action packer from Rubbermaid, and I carry like my air pump in here and just various other things. And over here on the other side, various things. I don't get into this side quite as often, so things that are less used but important I carry there. I should say that a lot of my recovery gear is on the bottom cabinet over here on this side right there. Every nook and cranny with things. So you can see between the cabinets and the sidewall of the truck bed here, I've got all kinds of things that are packed all the way down there. This is the water pump. But one of the problems that I had was the switch is right here on the top. And if I were to push this side of that switch, the pump would turn on and start pumping water. And so if something fell from up here down onto this, which I've had happen before, that could be a real problem. So I just took a lid, a little plastic lid right here, used some duct tape to tape it there. And that way, if something falls on this, it doesn't have a chance to turn on the switch. On top of the cabinets here, I have my backpack. I have not really used this backpack. It's got stuff stored in it. I have my trekking poles right here. I do put stuff up on top. My laundry bag, for instance, is up there. But the stuff that's in here, a bear canister, there is a thing here I bought, a blanket type of thing to keep you cool on hot weather. Most of the stuff I'm not using, and probably on the next trip I may not bring this along with me. I haven't had the chance to actually hike out and camp. I have done hiking, and when I do hiking, I'm taking my camera backpack with a camera in it and some other things, and it's just a day trip, and that works well. But so I'll have to think about this. This is taking space. Space is so valuable, and I'll have to decide whether I'm really going to do the type of camping that I originally had anticipated doing. It's still an option. Still have it. Over here, these are traction mats. I've used them to balance the truck, to level the truck, I should say. But they're not real easy to get in and out of the inside of the truck cab here, the cabin. So I would have liked to mounted them to the door, you know, to put them out here. But then I'd have to consider the struts and whether I need to change those out and stuff. So temporarily, at least they're in here. I can't carry them on the top because if I carried them up on top, it would interfere with the solar panel generation of electricity. And over here by the door, I have my 5-gallon Lifesaver water filter. It's this heavy-duty plastic jerry can. This right here is a pump, and you pump like this, and that pumps pressure into the tank. And let me walk around. So then, to take advantage of that pressure is, there's a filter right below this that's down here. And so the pressure is forcing the water up through the filter and out the little nozzle here, and you control it right here. I wanted this to be accessible from the outside of the truck, so I'm standing in the doorway. After the water level drops, it takes a lot more pumping to get enough pressure to get the water out. So generally when the water level gets down in here, I'm going to take that water pump that I just showed you, and there's a hose attached to it, one that contracts and expands, and I'll fill this up using the water that's in the 13-gallon water tank from ALU-CAB back there. I like having this, it's not plexiglass, Lexan I think it is, glass on my cabinets. I'm able to see what's in them, and it makes it easier to find things. This little beauty is a Dickerson Newport, and it is a propane heater. Originally built and designed for sailboats, it's been adapted to work here on the ALU-CAB. That pipe going out there, the exhaust, is actually an intake tooth, so it's a dual input and export. I'm thinking of computers here too much, aren't I? So it takes air in and exhausts the spent air out here. And the beauty of that is it's not building up moisture inside the cabin. And also there's a lot less worry about carbon monoxide. I have 2 holders for 10-pound propane tanks. This one is empty. The line for it runs down along here and underneath there and runs over. So they did a good job on that. Generally what I do is I will, at night, just before I'm ready for bed, I will open the hatch going up into the tent area. I'll fire this up and burn it for an hour or two, warm things up enough to take the chill off, and then I'll turn it off and I'll go to sleep. If it's bitterly cold, I'll leave the hatch open all night, and I will just run this all night. I do have a carbon monoxide detector that I use also in those situations. I have a chemical porta-potty made by Reliance here. And when I designed the cabinets, I made sure that I had room to set that right there. I can actually use it in there or pull it out and use it outside if I need to. It's a lot easier to maintain than one that flushes. You know, you can get these ones that have fluids that flush in them and those type of things. So this is very lightweight. You just put a little plastic baggie in there, or a bag, and then I've got some chemicals that I drop in there. Okay, well, if you have some questions, comment below and I'll get right back to you as soon as I can. If you're not a subscriber to Overlandscapes, please subscribe. It helps the channel. Hit that bell and also give me a thumbs up. I'd sure appreciate it. I hope that our trails cross out here in the wilderness somewhere soon.